All right, it's 3:22 p.m. on the 8th of January 2015. My son and I got out to the range, uh, the shooting range, a couple of days ago, and we shot three of my pistols. And we had a wonderful day in the range, as we always do. Uh, and now it's time to clean the guns. And uh, it can take a while to do it, and it seems like it might be a chore. The fun part's the shooting part, but I actually enjoy cleaning my firearms. It's relaxing to me. Some guys enjoy working on cars and cleaning their cars, and some guys like to work on their house, and uh, I don't like to do either of those two things, but I like to clean and work on my guns. So in that light, I'm just going to document what I do here, cleaning those three guns. And what I have here is the three products, the several products that I'm going to use. The first one, the cleaning solvent itself, is a product called Ballistol. This has been around for over 100 years. The German Army developed this back in around World War One, and it is an excellent product. It is probably not as effective as some other solvents in getting metallic residues out of your firearms. It will dissolve small amounts of copper and zinc, um, and it does a good job of breaking up all of the burnt, spent powder, lubricant and grime and grease and dirt or whatever. Um, this stuff is I really like this because it it says here right on the can: lubricates, penetrates, cleans, protects, preserves firearms, leather, knives, tools, locks, marine, wood, metal, rubber. Eco-friendly, skin safe, no carcinogens. The majority of the ingredient here is medicinal grade mineral oil, with a few other products in here that give it an alkaline pH, so that it's very effective at neutralizing corrosive, uh, acidic products. It also has a very pleasant smell. It smells faintly like licorice. Licorice. I actually don't mind the smell of it at all. Um, so that's the main solvent I'm going to be using. I also use Tetra gun grease, firearm grease. This is high quality lithium grease, and it's used on a lot of firearms. And for the actual cleaning pads, I got some Eastern Maine Shooting Supply pre-cut cotton patches. You can cut up old t-shirts or whatever you want and do the same thing, but you can get these fairly cheap down at Walmart, and I'm basically lazy, so that's what I did. The other product I use here is Johnson's safety swabs, and these are uh, pretty good for getting down into those hard to reach places. And I actually probably going to go back to the regular cotton swabs because these have a tendency to come off of here, and they're kind of fat. So, but I'm going to use these up. And the tools I'll be using are as follows. I save all my old toothbrushes. They're great for getting down in there and scrubbing, breaking up some of that grime and dirt. Um, I've got a cleaning rod here, a brass cleaning rod. You don't want to use anything steel to scratch up your gun. So um, this has got a free floating handle on it, so it can turn as it goes down through the rifling. And then there's various brushes you can attach to the end. This happens to be a 38 caliber brass brush that goes on the end here. Just screws in like so. You can use it to get in down and scrub the barrel. Um, then I've got an old found an old ballpoint pen filler that works very well for using as a pin to help break magazines down, and it's got a plastic tip on the other end that I can use as a punch without damaging the finish on the gun. And then I just need to for some of the magazines you need a little flat bladed screwdriver to get in there and dig. But anyway, these are the cleaning products, and now I'm going to go on to show the guns that need to be cleaned. Alright, here are the three guns that we shot and the ones that are in need of cleaning. Uh, each of these guns are new, and by that I mean that they've been to the range twice. Most manufacturers suggest a break-in period of about 200 rounds to loosen up all the parts and to become completely reliable. These are all close to that now. Now, I would run many more rounds of different types and brands of ammunition through a gun before relying on it for self-defense. And right now, only the little SIG fits that bill. Um, I've had the DB, the Diamondback DB380 for some time, but it's new in the sense that it has just been returned from repair after being completely refurbished. This gun is, you might as well say it's a new gun. It's had everything replaced: barrel, guide rod, spring, trigger's been reconfigured here. It's got the three pins over the trigger, only had one, but it's essentially a new gun. So um, I'm getting to feel a little more confident about this gun. So I'm going to clean it again, and I'll take it back out to the range and do a little bit of a range report on this next. The next gun is the little Sig Sauer P238. Now this is a little beauty. Um, this is my little miniature 1911, and it's it's uh, it's it's a beauty. And so far it has been almost flawless. Uh, it's just a gorgeous little gun. So we're going to go ahead and break that one down. Right now it is. Let's just check it out here. Um, Go ahead and get it ready for cleaning. Same thing with the Diamondback. Take the magazine out. Okay, it's ready to go. And the last gun here is my great big full size Sig Sauer P226 Elite Stainless with a 20 round magazine in it. This gun is 9mm. The other two are 380s. Uh, it is fine, fine firearm. Gonna go ahead and get it ready to go. Decock it. And so now I'm going to break down each gun and the magazines and get them ready for cleaning. The hardest part of breaking the guns down, really, is the magazines. And each magazine for each gun is different, and they can be really a pain in the butt sometimes. So I'll go ahead and break those down, and the guns are similar. They break down in different ways also, but I'll go ahead and start that process, and then we'll start the cleaning procedure. And the first gun I'm going to break down here is the Diamondback, the little DB380. And for that, I'm going to put my safety glasses on. And the only reason I wear the safety glasses is for the magazines. These springs are under tension, and I have launched these across the room before, so I've since learned how to do it in a little safer manner. So first of all, I'll break the magazine down, and I might just say that you don't always have to break the magazines down. I mean, you don't have to clean these every time you go to the range. You don't have to clean the gun every time you go to the range. But I'm going to do it just for the purpose of documenting it and and getting a little more practice in doing it. Um, for the Diamondback, the magazine this is not an extended magazine, but it has a pinky extension on the bottom, which kind of helps give the gun some purchase here. It helps a little bit. I still can't get all of my fingers on it, but it does help. It's a 6-round magazine. What I'm going to do here is basically just take my ballpoint pen tool with the plastic tip. There's a detent here on the bottom, on the butt plate of the magazine. I'm just going to depress that, and at the same time push it aside. I'm going to face it downwards here and pull this butt plate off, and there's a bottom plate also with a detent on it. Okay, so I have that. The magazine then comes out of the magazine body, the spring, I'm sorry, and the spring is basically the same on both ends, so there's no real issue there. Then I'm going to dump it upside down, and the follower comes out. The follower is the part that the cartridge is right on, and this goes at the top of the magazine up here, where all this is notched out. This is where it fits into the slide. So there, the magazine is broken down. The gun itself breaks down a lot like a Glock. You have a takedown pin on this side and another one on this side. So the two takedown pins, you have to just pull those down, and then the slide comes off of the frame. So I usually have a little problems doing that because it's kind of a small gun, and I'm going to go ahead and grab it like so, and try to bring those pins down. Make sure the gun is the trigger is tension is off the trigger. Bring this back, bring these down, and now the slide comes right off of the frame. So here's your two parts here. Here's the frame, which contains the trigger housing and all of the firing mechanism of the gun. So that's that part of it. And the slide is pretty much the same on every semi-automatic pistol. You've got a guide rod with a spring that forces brings the slide back every time the gun cycles. So I'm going to go ahead and take that out. The spring just comes off like so, and the guide rod comes out. Again, you have a spring that it's the same on both sides. Some springs are different. Some have an open coil on one end. You always want to have the closed coil against the base of the guide rod, but in this case it doesn't matter. It can go either way. And then the only thing left here is to remove the barrel from the slide. So there's the slide, and there's the barrel. Okay, and you have the feed ramp here on the back. So okay, there's the Diamondback completely broken down, and now we'll go on to the Sig Sauer P238. Next up is the Sig Sauer P238, and I'm going to break the magazine down. It is different and a little more problematic than the DB380. So we'll start out by doing that. In this magazine, there's no detente on the bottom, so everything has to come out the top. And in order to do that, you have to compress the follower and take some of the tension off the spring. And to do that, I'm going to use my plastic pen, and I'm going to push the follower down a short ways. I'm going to have to get down in there, and so I don't want to push it down too far. Then I'm going to take my pin here, and I'm going to put it through like this to take some of the pressure off of the spring. Now the follower, I can reach in there and fish it out with my flat-bladed screwdriver, like so. Just fish it out like so, and it comes out. There's your follower. All right, so we got that. Point this magazine downwards and remove the pin. That lets the spring come out. There's your spring, and now there's the magazine body. Okay, so we've got that. Now for the gun itself. With this gun, you have to remove the slide stop lever, and it goes through. There's a little pin on the other side over here, and you kind of actually have to do it by feel while you're pulling the slide back. So again, I'm going to use my little plastic tool here so that I don't damage. So I push this pin. I'm going to push the pin through the frame when it's lined up properly. So it's almost a tactile feel sensation to get this just right, and it'll just come loose when it's lined up properly. There it is, and the pin just drops out the other side. Let go of the slide, and the slide comes off of the frame, just like the DB. So here again, you have all the trigger components in here in the frame, and you got your slide stop lever here. And again, it looks almost exactly like the DB. You've got the guide rod and spring and the barrel. So remove the guide rod and spring. Again, you got two open ends here on the spring, and they're identical, no problem. The guide rod actually has a little cutout here, a notch, so when putting it back together, this notch has to rest down on the barrel, so you have to be mindful of that. But then the barrel, like the other semi-automatics, it slides out of the slide. There's your barrel, and there's the slide. And like all of these guns, it can be further broken down. Your firing mechanism, your firing pin and your ejector are housed back here in the back of the slide, and it can be broken down further. This should only need to be done every so often. I mean, every maybe 1,000 rounds or something like that, depending on the gun, I suppose. I'm not really sure. I've never done it on any of my guns yet, and I will learn when I learn how to do that. I'll videotape how that's done. So here we have the SIG broken down like so, and here's all the components for that. And now we'll just go on to the final one. Okay, here's the big 9mm. We'll start again with the magazine. This is not your standard magazine. The standard magazine is pretty much like the Sig Sauer over here. It breaks down the same way. This is an aftermarket. It's called a Mec-Gar. These are made in Italy, and they are high quality magazines. And a lot of people replace their standard magazines with these. They got a nice slick coating on them for ejection, and they work fine. They really work fine. And I had to figure out how to get this one apart as well. Again, different from the other two. On this one, you've got a little slot back here that has to come out and down that allows the butt plate to slide off. And let's see if I can do that. Out, down, and out. And it pops out like so. And that allows the butt plate to start to come off. I'm going to point this downwards like so. And this is a gigantic spring on this sucker. Now on this one, the butt plate is actually attached to the spring down here at the bottom, and up at the top the follower is attached to the spring at the top. Now you can actually get this. There's a little hook in here where you can pull this out and take it off, but there's really no need to do that. So there's your magazine for the Mec-Gar magazine, 20-round extended magazine. As far as breaking the gun down, this is the easiest of the three. Basically, all you have to do here is lock the slide back with the slide stop lever here. Lock it back, and then the breakdown lever is up here. You just rotate this down 90 degrees, like so, and then release the tension on the slide stop. The slide comes right off, and there you go. Pretty much the same as the other two, only larger. This is an all-metal frame, and you got all your trigger mechanism in there. Again, this is your guide rod and spring. Pull that apart. This is kind of color coded on the end here. This is red, and So you kind of want to, even though the spring looks the same, you want to keep this, down here towards this end of the guide rod. So there we've got that. Again, it breaks down the same way. The barrel just lifts out. There's the barrel for the 9mm with your feed ramp and everything. So now we've got all of the guns broken down and prepared for cleaning. So here it is, and the next step is to show the cleaning process. The next step, now that all three guns are broken down, is the preliminary cleaning procedure. Now, I'm going to use the Ballistol, and I'm going to get the process started of breaking up some of the gunk and carbon and whatever on these things. Now, there's some things that you want to lubricate more liberally than others. So on all three of these guns, the only parts I'm going to really lubricate heavily are the slide, the barrel, especially the barrel, and the frame. So let's do that. Just basically, before I start that, I'm just going to say right here on all three firearms is where your firing pin comes through. This is the channel. It goes back here. The firing pin rides back here. So you don't want to spray a lot of lubricant up in here because you don't want to bring dirt and grime. You don't want that traveling up in this channel so to impede the travel of the firing pin. So I'm going to kind of keep that um, away from the general spray here. And I'm going to try to be careful. Also, I'm in front of my computer. I don't want to spray the computer down. But um, basically here is just go ahead and liberally soak this down and get this to start working. You know, just the slide, the barrel, front and rear. Just let that soak down in there. And again, the frame. And I'm going to do that for all three guns here. Frame, slide, and barrel. And over here for the Diamondback, get that barrel all soaked, get it soaking. Uh, hose down the slide and the frame, like so. No need to spray anything on any of these other components, the magazine components and the guide rod and springs. No need to do that. They just need to be gently wiped down with some lubricant. Now, what I have to do here is just let the Ballistol sit and do its work for about 10 or 15 minutes or so, and then we'll start the cleaning procedure. And I'm only going to clean one gun here on video. Just for time's sake, I'll just do one because the cleaning process from here on out is identical to all of these guns. And then when I'm finished cleaning all of the guns, then I'll reassemble them, and they'll be ready to be stored in the safe for the next range session. So back in a minute. Okay, now for the deep cleaning process. I've already done the DB and the SIG 238. So these two firearms are ready for reassembly. I have not yet cleaned this one, so I'm going to do that now, and just to show that process. This has all been soaking in Ballistol here, the frame, the slide, and the barrel. So the first thing I do is attack the barrel. The barrel is where all your dirt and grime and powder is. So I take my cleaning rod with my brass brush on there and run it in from the breech side, not from the barrel side. You wanna always be pushing the dirt and stuff out. Although I'm going to be going back and forth here, when it comes to running pads through there, you always want to go through the breech side. So let's put it down in here and push down, you can feel it turning, and run this back and forth through the barrel a few times, like so, and uh, just let it revolve, let it turn. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get some patches out here, because I'm going to need quite a few of them for this process. Get some nice clean patches out here, and I'm going to take 2 of them. I usually take double thickness, soak it down with Ballistol, and what I'm going to do here is run the patch through the barrel. Kind of to do that, I take the brush off, and I just use the base tip. Now, you don't want to try to run it down through the center here. It binds up, so you get it off to the side a little bit so it doesn't bind. This is the way I do it anyway. A million schools of thought on this. Push it down, let it rotate freely through there. Push it out, and there you go. Look at that grime and grit. There's your gunpowder from the range. Okay, I'm going to flip it over and do it again, like so. Like so. Then I'm going to invert the patches here and use them over, like so. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take some more Ballistol and do this a second time. Run this down, let it soak for a while. Okay. And then I'm going to go on and clean the other components here. And I guess I'll start with the slide. It's pretty dirty in there. And basically what I do here is take the toothbrush and kind of just get up along the slide rails back here, wherever I can get that toothbrush in there, I do. And just kind of loosen up that grime and dirt. Get in there with these patches that I just used and just start wiping it down. Wipe it down wherever I can get to it. And boy, you can see the nasty stuff coming off of there. So I'm going to do this more of in a hurry than I normally would, just because I don't want to sit here and take up a million hours of video time. I'm going to get some more. Let's do this. Let's get down in here with one of the swabs and get in along this rail system here. And you can see all the nasty gunk coming out of there. Do it on the other side. Yep. So get down in there. Get all that nasty stuff out of there if you can. Go back with some more patches, and I like to use double patches. It just works better that way, it seems like. Both sides. Okay, just scrub it down best you can. Not going to get it all, and you know what, some people are really fanatic about this. I'm not. You're getting most of it out of there. You're going to get a little bit of grime left. Okay, so let's just call the slide ready and do the same thing with the frame here. Now this is a little more problematic. You got a lot more nooks and crannies down in there, and that is really nasty there. So let's try the other side. Boy, lots of goop down in there for sure. Gonna get down in there with another one of these swabs. Let's get down in some of these areas where you can't get. Oh yeah, grime and grit, dirt, powder residue. Oh boy, back down here around the trigger. I'm sorry, the hammer. Uh, get down in there like so. And one thing I like to do here is I like to take a couple of clean patches, soak them down, put my cleaning brush back on because I'm going to use that here in a second. And I just kind of wrap these patches around there. And I like to get up into the magazine well up in here. And powder residue gets down in there as well. And you can see some of that on there. So we'll get that. Now let's go back and do the barrel again into the breech end. Rotate, just kind of scrub some of that residue out of there. Take the brass brush off. Down we go with the patch. More goop. Okay. Flip it around. Do it again. Okay. Now some people will just keep going and going and going and scrubbing and cleaning and scrubbing and cleaning until they got nothing coming out. I don't feel that that's necessary. Uh, I've been shooting for about 4 years now, and my guns seem to be operating flawlessly, and they don't seem to be suffering any ill problems with wear or whatever. So I'm going to run clean patch through there, and looks pretty good. Tell you the truth. Run it to the other side. Okay, good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple of dry patches, run it through there because you don't want a lot of lubricant down in there. Nice and clean. Clean enough for me, tell you the truth. Looks good. Okay. Just kind of wipe the barrel down a little bit. Get the excess off of there. Wipe down everything here as best I can. Looking pretty good, tell you the truth. Okay, got that. Got the slide. Now what I want to do is apply a little grease to where you need to have it. And you can look down in there and you can see areas that where metal is against metal. And I usually try to put a little bit of grease down in there, just a tiny bit. A little bit of this goes a long, long way. So you don't need a lot of it. I put maybe a dab in the front of the rail, dab in the back on either side, like so. And that's really all you need. So, like I said, this stuff goes a long, long way. Now, basically, let's get some more patches out here. Okay. And I'm just going to use dry patches here to just kind of wipe down, just kind of go over the spring here. Just kind of work on the magazine. Here's the follower. I'm not going to take it off of the spring. Just kind of wipe it down, just some mild lubrication. Clean the base plate off a little bit. There's a little bit of grime there, not much. So kind of wipe the magazine down on the outside. Now again, what I want to do is get up in here with a couple of dry patches. Like so, and get up into the body of the magazine. Just kind of run that up and down through there. And you can see there's a little grime in there, little dirt. Okay, wipe the guide rod down. That seems to be pretty clean. The spring, guide rod spring is okay. So we got everything ready to go, ready to assemble. I'm gonna reassemble the guns now. So here we go. Let's do them one at a time. All right, Sig Sauer P226 reassembly. Magazine first. Start with the body of the magazine. It's been cleaned out. This is kind of a unusual thing for me. I'm going to drop this down in here, and this should work. Should be able to put this down in here with the back on the outside, and get this right. Like I said, magazines are very problematic sometimes. Okay, we get that, and that appears to be good. So gonna take my old t-shirt here that I wipe my guns down with, wipe the magazine down. You don't want to over lubricate. You don't want to lubricate at all, really, your magazines, because lubrication can get down into the primers of your cartridges and cause misfires or whatever. So you don't want a bunch of juice in there. So next step is to assemble the guide rod and spring like so. Let's drop the barrel back into the slide. Pull it all the way back. This fits through here like so. Now you've got your slide, barrel, guide rod, spring all ready to go to be reassembled on the full-length guide rods on there. Nice. Bring it all the way back. Lock it back. Bring your breakdown lever back up. Let go. Function test. Hold down on the trigger. Bring back. Short reset. Great. Okay. Magazine. Locks back. Excellent. Decocker. Good. Wipe it down. Wipe the gun down. And it is ready to go for the next range session. There you have it. Okay, we're going to move on to the next one now. Next up, DB380. Magazine first. Here's the magazine body. Follower goes in from the bottom, and it only goes in one way. It's got a rounded edge. Rounded edge drops down like so. Need to line the spring up accordingly. Drop it in there. I'm going to depress the spring and hold it with my pin here, like so. Let's do it a little bit more. There we go. And that allows me to put the base plate on there and the butt plate. Now I can pull the pin out, depress the detente here, and continue to slide the clicks into place. Magazine's good. Wipe it down with my old wipe down rag here. Now we just reassemble everything as we did the last one. Barrel goes in, slide it back, guide rod and spring, either way is fine. Goes through the spring, goes through the hole up here in front. Goes back and seats against the barrel like so the barrel can ride back and forth. This goes back on to the rails. Function test. Reset. Reset. Good. Okay. Magazine. This does not lock back no matter what, so it doesn't matter. Wipe it down. Get everything off of there, all the excess oil and whatever. Now we have the DB380, range safe, ready to go. Next one. Last but not least, the SIG P238. Again, magazine first. Let's wipe down the body of the magazine here. Okay, now this one does have a difference in the spring. We got a small section up here and a large section down here. The small section goes at the top, and we have to just feed that in like so. Feed it down in there. Okay, now I'm going to use my my plastic pen tool here to depress the spring deep down into the magazine well while I insert a pin in there. Let's see if we can do this right. This is a hard one. This is not easy. Okay, hold that in like so. Then the follower goes in. This goes towards the back. This flat part goes in towards the back, and need to get the whole thing in there. And the spring has to be down far enough to do that. It should be down there far enough to do that. Drop the whole thing in, and then you have to just fiddle with it and get it lined up right. Turn it upside down, pull the pin out, and it should snap into place. And sure enough, it does. Okay. Wipe it down. Now, again, the assembly of the slide and frame is similar. We bring the barrel up here, like so, and the pin and the spring, guide rod and the spring are like so, and this little notch has to be facing downwards towards the barrel. So again, we insert it through the hole up front and make sure that the this part is facing down towards the barrel. And this is an exceptionally long spring, so it takes a little bit of getting used to there. Now it looks like the other guns, ready to go. Slide it onto the frame. Now here you have to oops. Don't have it lined up right. There we go. Slide this on. The one thing you have to do here is depress the ejector lever here. This little ejector has to be pressed down so that the slide can clear it. Now you can come back. The next step is to place the pin, the slide stop lever in here, and this has to come back. There's actually a little moon-shaped area here that has to line up with the moon-shaped area on the slide, and it goes something like this. Slide it back, and that the pin then slides through to the other side of the frame, and you are reassembled. Boom. I'm shooting a lot of spray out of there for some reason. I guess I got a lot of extra gook in there. Anyway, let's wipe it down. First of all, we'll check the magazine here. Locks back, no problem. Check the safety. Hammer back, safety works. Disengage the safety. Fires. Locks back. Good. Now this gun is ready for the range. So there you have it. Wipe it down liberally so you can go in the safe and avoid any corrosion or whatever. Nice thing about Ballistol is that the more you use it, it penetrates down into the metal, and it gives it a nice soft feel, whatever. So there you have it, the cleaning of the 3 guns that were fired out at the range. So let's just finish up here with one last little segment. So there's a cleaning video on 3 of my guns, and you know, it's something that only another gun enthusiast could enjoy, but it's an opportunity. When you clean the guns, you go out and shoot them, you have a good time, they're great, but it's an opportunity when you clean the guns to just sit and pay attention to them on a very close basis. You know, you can see where the wear is, the wear and tear. Each one of these little firearms has a different personality, so to speak. They all like different ammunition. They all like different things. They all like to be handled in different ways. They each shoot differently. So you know, just be aware of your handguns, and be familiar with them. If you only have one, you'll be intimately familiar with it. But I have 13 handguns. I don't get to shoot all of them all of the time, but when I do, and I sit down and I clean them, that's my opportunity to see how things are working, whether something's wrong, or there's a potential problem developing, or whatever. Anyway, these 3 guns are ready to go, and ready to make another trip to the range, and they're all fun to shoot. This guy is wonderful. I mean, this is Navy SEALs can't be wrong on this guy. This little fellow is rapidly becoming my concealed carry gun for my bicycle, because it's small and easily carried. And I almost gave up on this guy, but it's coming along pretty good too. Little Junior's not doing so bad lately. Anyway, that's my cleaning video, and another video coming up will be all the different types of actions. Here we got single action, double action. Here we got single action only. Here we got double action only. Whole nother video. Talk about that later. See ya.